Hello everyone. Welcome to PvP Live, the podcast. I believe this is actually episode number 6, so that means we've been doing this for almost 2 months now. It's pretty damn exciting. I am your host, Jason, followed by PvP Live staff members Davis, Tobias, Paul, and someone that's not on camera. Some technical difficulties. Aridin is going to be chatting it up with us too, but he is no camera visible at the moment. Davis, starting with you, how the heck are you doing?
I am doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing really excellent, man. I finally got a Hearthstone beta key. Man,
Oh yeah.
I've been waiting damn months to get into this beta. So that's pretty much all I've been doing these past couple days. And as you can notice by my background, I am super pumped for The Walking Dead season premiere tonight. So it's October. It's my favorite month of the whole year. So I'm pretty pumped. Tobias, what's that?
Are you big on Halloween?
First of all, your background is actually awesome.
Thank
awesome
you.
Stuff.
Thank you. You know,
I've.
Oh, go ahead, Tobias.
No, you go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I fall, autumn, leaves changing. You know, pumpkin spice flavored things, apple juice. I'm a sucker for all of it. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the month. Oh, and AMC's Fear Fest. If you guys know what that is, it's 24 hours a day, starting Monday for the rest of the month. Horror movies on AMC, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. Tobias, how the heck are you doing today?
Good. Finally, not ill, feeling good, working a lot. I've been playing a Hearthstone tournament today, and I improved my score from last time. Didn't get crushed, nearly qualified for the finals. But yeah, I was having a worse tiebreaker than some of the other ones, but the same amount of wins. And so, well, next week I will go, hopefully.
There you go. Stay positive.
And apart from that, I decided to stay friends with Davis and chose to go for daggers as rogue instead of swords, and so I won't be playing combat. I will be playing sub.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
so you guys can still be mates, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, though, it doesn't really matter because Davis is a true warrior at heart. Paul, how are you doing? Paul, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing excellent. Hope everyone else is good. Reading all my friends trolling in the chat. Hello to everyone in the chat.
Nice. Do you want to have a real quick talk about emulators and old school games as we?
I would love to. I would just want to point out though, because there's some people asking. The reason I don't have a webcam is because my computer is 1,000,000 years old, and I doubt it could even support one. So
that has to be like the oldest computer in the world.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
It's an Apple. Paul's actually running on an Apple IIgs right now.
An actual Apple. He's playing on an actual.
Yeah.
on the fruit.
So you can all enjoy looking at my warrior. So,
it's like guinea pigs running in these wheels to get the power working and stuff like that, and they have to plug in these little cables to make the connections. So, Paul, you should link your PayPal so everyone in the chat can send you some donations.
I don't even have one.
You don't have a PayPal. And you told us you live in a tax haven and you don't have PayPal. Do you have Bitcoins, or how do you manage all the black money that's floating into your accounts?
We have actual cash here, so that's how we work it.
Okay.
They don't even have debit. They don't even have debit cards yet. Just cash. Yeah.
No.
They still use
No, it's like the old days when you just had gold coins and that's all.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like real gold coins. Yeah. So you have this sack of gold coins or this bag of gold coins. Like it's actually in WoW.
If you go to a shop to buy some, you just have this little sack of gold coins and you toss it at them.
Yeah. And if you have no gold coins, you just bring your cow and say, "Hey, get some milk or something." And
Paul, you're a modern day pirate. I'll tell you that. Aridin, how are you? Danny, how you doing today, bud?
Good. Happy to join the show. It's kind of a last minute thing, so we couldn't get my camera set up. Sorry you guys can't see my beautiful bearded face, but I'm doing well. Super busy. Really busy with everything coming up. So, happy to be here.
Good. We're happy to have you. Yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff in the works here at PvP Live, so everyone's been super busy. Before we get on to the first topic of discussion, I just want to remind everyone, go to pvp-live.com, bookmark the site, follow us here on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter, and then follow all of us on Twitter as well. So, there's been a couple of big changes here in the past week or so in the PvP community. They are finally getting rid of the crowd chooses you, which I think is a long time coming. Even though it just started, people kind of hate it. So the new notes right now are what's going to happen is if a match should last for 10 minutes, all players in the arena will begin to receive a stacking debuff that reduces healing done by 1% every 10 seconds. So that is kind of the direction that Blizzard is going right now for the debuffs in Arena. Davis, just starting with you, what are your thoughts on this big news, really?
I like it, but I still worry about it. But I mean, at least it'll definitely end the game, if you know what I mean, eventually. But
Yeah.
I worry it kind of favors people that just do loads of damage really quickly rather than people who need to set up CC to get killed. But I mean, maybe that's also good because then we won't have games where it's just like RLS is lasting forever and never dying and stuff like that.
Do you find though that most matches even get to that length? I mean,
in 3v3, rarely. Like I think I had it once, and that's about it. And 2v2, it happens all the time, so I guess it's probably pretty good for them. I guess it's probably just a fix for 2v2 as well.
I think some comps experience it a lot. For example, Boitar's team that is qualified for BlizzCon with Swazi and Blackstack. I think they have a really good ratio of winning, but I think 1/3 to 1/2 of their wins was due to the all the crowd shows you buff. And so with that changing, it definitely affects the top ladder. I think caster cleave mirrors are especially prone to being affected by that. And so it's a big question. I think shamans probably benefit a lot from it because of their mastery. They still heal for a lot. They can heal more efficiently in the stages when the buff is stacking. While holy priests or maybe resto druids, I think, hurt a lot more from the change.
So overall, Tobias, I mean, do you think it's a welcoming change from the crowd chooses you?
Yes, definitely a welcoming change. I think the meta game will evolve around it. Maybe if it makes caster cleaves less popular, all the better. I mean, what else? I think pretty much all viewers of arena tournaments agree that they dislike caster cleave mirrors watching them, and so I'm always in favor of more balanced comps like melee caster healer, melee ranged healer, that are generally more fast paced.
Before we move into Paul, Tobias, could you possibly link that excellent post that Aridin wrote up, and it covers the crowd chooses you and RBG rating resets and everything. So it's an excellent article on PvP Live. Definitely go check it out. Paul, how about you? I mean, what do you think about the crowd chooses you on the way out and the new 1% every 10-second buff?
Well, to be honest, the way it was implemented was possibly the worst way they could have implemented it. So I think that what they're bringing in now is better. I'm not sure whether it's still where we'd want it to be eventually, but it's far better than the current implementation. So in that regard, it's much better. But I think, like Tobias said, it seems to benefit certain classes better than others, and we still don't know exactly how it works with other abilities. Like, does self-healing is also affected by it?
Right.
Abilities like maybe, I don't know, AMS, are they affected by it as well? It's just, there's a lot of different ways as we don't know how it affected yet. They really haven't said it. So I think that's something maybe they want to do, or at least clarify more on this. But I kind of was wondering then with what Tobias said about Swapsy's team. Is this buff in the game now? Or
Yes,
when
it's in the game now.
I mean,
It's
when
a
are they
hot
changing
fix.
it?
It's in the game now.
Oh,
The
right,
crowd
okay.
shows you is gone, the old one.
Alright, because I was just thinking, I wouldn't want to see BlizzCon decided by that.
Right.
That would be a bit silly.
Yeah, that would be horrible. Actually, Tobias, that's a good question. Or when was it implemented? Do you know when the hotfix was implemented? Was it a couple days ago, or
48 hours ago or something.
okay? Yeah,
Not
because
entirely sure.
okay. Well, maybe we can pull
I
that up.
think it's something like 48 hours ago.
Okay. Danny, Aridin, what do you think? I mean, you wrote this excellent article, explaining everything. The crowd chooses you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it needed to go. I mean, it was maybe a good idea when they came up with it, but Blizzard always says that they can't really tell how something's going to go until it goes live because not enough people tend to test it on the PTR. So I think
Yeah.
once it went live and they saw that people kind of I would even go as far as say abusing it, setting up specifically to
Yeah.
get that. Tobias has some news here.
I think I was actually stupid.
Oh, don't
It
talk about
might
yourself
be
like that.
I was selling shit and it's not implemented yet.
Okay.
So
Right.
forgive me.
Yeah, I did not think it was.
Sorry.
I've seen just to catch on what Eridan was saying. That I have seen teams doing that in twos. I saw about a couple of days ago. I came across a double healer team with a druid with Heart of the Wild, and basically they just did nothing for the whole game, keeping themselves top to full HP, and then just towards the very end tried to get someone really low super quickly with Heart of the Wild. I've seen other teams like that. They get you low or low-ish in like maybe the first minute, blowing every cooldown, and then run away for 14 minutes. So yeah, they had to change that. It was kind of silly.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, it was effect.
Oh, go ahead, Tobias.
No, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't think they actually announced a release date, so I'm guessing probably within the next 2 weeks they'll probably start rolling that out. I would imagine.
Yeah.
It has to be
That's
before
What I was
BlizzCon.
saying is the problem is all of these kind of buffs has some influence on balance and on the gameplay. People probably take it more important than it is, but still it changes player behavior a lot. And so I think, yeah, there needs to be a way to do it, and there is no really golden solution. So every solution has a pro and a con. But I like this version much more than the older one.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
older one was kind of a bit more exciting, but also the change really kicked in after 15 minutes. And I still think it's better because I don't think many games will go to 15 minutes with the change implemented now. Because the healing is reduced much earlier. And yeah, so
Well,
I'm all in favor of it.
it is nice. It seems like it's a lot nicer because it's a slow ramp up rather than just having
Yeah.
everything happen at once. So you actually have a chance to do something in the match, before it's the end. Note to self too: don't use a green cup on a green screen because it looks ridiculous. Anyways, moving on to the next subject.
Wait, I wanted to add something.
Oh, I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
Go ahead, Aaron.
The one thing
That's
I
hilarious.
guess just like thinking about it is I wonder if it's going to influence comps negatively in the way of like having hybrid healers and stuff like more if one person's healing is reduced, then maybe it's more advantageous to have two healers on a team or like an off healer or something. So I'm not sure. I just don't want it to devalue healers or make having more than one healer a better option.
I think at the end of the day, it's like if you're playing like an RMP or whatever or something that can just blow someone up like really quickly, and you've lasted 10 minutes against an LSD or something like that, then I think it'll more fairly decide the winner because like if the RMP has lasted that long, then they probably deserve to just be able to do a lot of damage to someone and not have it healed up because the enemy team has two healers. So
Yeah.
I think it probably, like, even though we can see flaws in it, it probably does determine the best winner like 99% of the time. There'll probably be some times where it doesn't, but I don't think people will be like playing just for that moment, if that makes sense.
And probably the best thing about it too is they mentioned that after 20 minutes it's gonna go back to a draw. So it does change the mentality a bit of the match, like where there is some urgency to win, because nobody wants to draw. You both lose points or MMR or whatever. So
Well, I mean, eventually, won't it go to 100% healing reduced?
I don't
Yes.
think
So
I don't think it works out that way. I mean, if it's 1% every 10 minutes or 10 seconds, starting
yeah.
at 10 minutes, like I don't. Will it reach 100% by 20 minutes?
I'm bad at math,
Every-
but I don't think so.
No,
Every
it shouldn't.
10
It would be
seconds.
60%.
Yeah, it'd be about 60% healing reduction.
Right.
Do you think that's too little? 1% every 10 seconds.
You know, I think it can change the game though. It seems like it's kind of reasonable.
But I don't
Yeah.
like. I have not read the thing where it's changed. I know they were changing it, but how does it work? Is it still the lowest HP then that team, or is it overall?
No,
the
no,
name?
no,
No,
no.
it's
It's
just
just
overall.
everyone.
Oh, right, yeah,
everyone
yeah.
gets it.
That's how I thought. Right.
So
I
like, it's
actually
not
think
like
it
you
might
can just
negatively.
play for it. Like,
I think 10% every minute sounds maybe a little better than.
Yeah, than 6%. 6%'s kind of odd. I
Yeah.
think it might negatively affect our feeling, actually, to your point. Because hybrid healers are doing decent amount of healing right now, but a lot of teams that, at least that I've seen, are targeting that healer because of the change recently to, like, Moonkin form or Shadow form, etc. So they actually can't do that much of healing. So the small amount that they can do, I actually think it might hurt our feeling quite a lot. Those hybrid classes, because right now Shadow's decent.
really.
Boomkins are. Go.
like in threes, like a 10-minute game, like that's a pretty long game.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Like most games would be like, I would say that by 8 minutes, a game is normally like decided. If you know what I mean. Like sometimes
Yeah,
you'll
I
get
thought-
ones that last like an extra cooldown rotation or whatever. But
I think very few games will ever get. Didn't they actually say that we'd noticed that only like something like 5% of games were going over 5 minutes long or something like that?
it's,
Yeah, but that,
yeah,
I remember reading that
depends on the
somewhere.
rating. I think on higher ratings, the games tend to go longer.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah, but I mean,
People physically is higher up.
there's far more players at lower rating than there is at high rating, obviously.
of
So
course,
Right.
of course.
I mean,
So
like
ultimately, this
myself,
affects really
scrubbing it up in the rat leagues against TSG all day.
I was actually doing that this week. I was capping with the very first person that responded in trade chat. I didn't check any achievements, anything at all. He was a mage, a panda mage. He jammed resilience and PvP power. He used frost armor over molten armor. And I think, I don't know. But I decided to I will give this guy a good day. And I stayed with him. We lost like 30 games or something and
Jeez.
won like 12 or so. And I dropped 200 rating or more. But I just decided, hey, it's really cool for this guy if someone plays with him, because probably 80 or 90% of the people that play with him will drop him after one game.
Yeah, I
And
gotta
so,
give
Nice guy,
you
Hildegard.
I gotta give you credit for playing 30 games and losing and still keep going. That's
yeah,
wow.
I'm kind of stubborn in that regard.
I know this
And it
topic
was
isn't.
really, we lost like 6-7 games in a row at some point. And it's pretty hard to keep on, but I decided to do it because I think it's actually an interesting perspective, because I think the majority of the players actually experience exactly that. They try to find someone in trade chat. They're really happy they find one. The first game goes wrong. They get kicked out of the group and then they search again. And so it's probably faster for them to cap with random battlegrounds than with arenas.
That kind of leads us on to the fourth point that we were making, maybe, if you wanna.
I wanna bring something
Yeah.
up here real quick. I know it's not even on our topic of things to discuss, but it's kind of a good point. Do you find that there's racism in WoW? I mean, like myself, I play mostly Horde. So if I'm somebody I'm playing with, if they're like a Blood Elf hunter or like a Blood Elf caster or something, like I don't even want to play with them because like they're not. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work. Like,
Yes.
Oh, I think a lot of people feel that way.
definitely exists.
I mean,
Of course.
it's kind of a dead giveaway. Like even like how are you going to use your racial? Like like I don't know.
What's wrong
Like,
with Arcane Torrent?
Yeah, I mean, Blood Elf isn't that bad, I think, actually. I mean, Paladins play Blood Elf at least, I think, isn't it? They play
Well,
Blood Elf over
they only
Torrent.
have 2 choices. I mean, you can.
Yeah, but still. They play Blood Elf over Torrent on Horde, don't they?
But I mean, like, for example, if you're a hunter, if you're not an orc or maybe even a troll,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say, like you were just saying, though, I think the majority of paladins are blood elves, for sure.
maybe Tauren sometimes. I see a lot of Tauren too on Horde.
Yeah, I
but
would
like,
think
I don't
Yeah.
really think. I don't know. I don't think I've refused to play with anyone because they were a certain race. But I
No,
guess it depends on the context. So if
It's
like
not
if
like
you
I wouldn't say
know of that person or
I
whatever.
wouldn't say it's downright refusal, but more of like, oh man, like if you don't know them and you see that they're a race that doesn't match like what class
Yeah.
they're playing, it's
Right.
kind of like I don't know about this guy, you know.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
just kind of like
definitely.
it all
I
checks
once
out.
played, for fun, I once played a male Draenei warrior. I made my warrior male Draenei once before, and the amount of shit that you get for playing that is just hilarious. Like, people rage so hard at you when they lose, and you're a male Draenei
Yeah.
more than any other thing. We were just doing it for fun, and it was like every game, if they were on the same round with you, you would get whispers. You guys are retarded, etc. So yeah, there is definitely like what race you are matters so much in this game.
Yeah, but you know what's even better is if you
Hilarious.
win. If you win as a male Draenei warrior, then it's just like haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Right.
What's up?
Yeah, but losing against male trainer warrior is the worst thing in the game. There's literally nothing worse than doing that. It's like pink hair gnomes are machines of death compared to male trainer warriors.
Yeah.
But even as gnome, you're kind of everyone on Alliance as rogue is either human or night elf. And as gnome, you also have kind of a hard time, but it's not as bad as if I'd be, let's say, dwarf or worgen or something.
Right.
But still, yes,
Seems like-
definitely. There's also gnomes are the master race. You puny,
Yeah.
long-legged,
Oh, no. No.
whatevers.
Davis, you actually play a Pandaren rogue, don't you?
No, I don't
you
play
don't?
a panda in a row.
Oh, I thought you were a male panda.
No.
Oh,
Why
my
do you
bad.
think I play a male panda?
Because you always sending
he
us
likes
screenshots.
to shuffle, you know.
Anyways, moving on to the next subject, next topic, RBG rating resets. Blizzard announced that ratings above 2,200 are going to be reduced to 2,200 to reduce inflation. Trying to fix the inflation right now. Starting over with you, Davis. What are your thoughts on that? Them adjusting the ratings right now.
I mean, I think it's a good change. It's kind of, it feels like we've been asking for a change for a while. But
Right.
yeah, I think I don't really have much to say for it, other than yeah, it's a good change, and it's nice to see that the RBG ladders will be cleaned up a bit, and stuff like that. I would like them to do it in 5v5 too, though, because 5v5 is full of the same stuff, but
Yeah.
at least on Europe. But apart from that, it's encouraging to see, and I guess that was probably the best fix that they thought was available to them.
Yeah, it seems like it's a welcome change. Going down to Tobias, what are your thoughts on the RBG rating resets?
Yeah, it's definitely a good change. I think they, like David said, 5v5 needs some fixes too. We had someone in chat already talking about how did he call it? It was a really nice wording. How did he call it?
The Russian superstars or something like
Russian
that.
superstars or something? Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't think actually it's all Russian. I think some people are trolling and just naming their characters Russian.
Yeah, I think
Because,
there's an element of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because everyone knows it used to always be Russian realms.
There are people in RPGs that quit playing if a Russian name is in the enemy team. It's like on lower ratings, but it's still people actually quit if they see a Russian name. It's like
Really?
no idea why they would do that, but they
Jeez.
do.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember this from last season. Like, I did some RPGs last season. It would be like it would be like daytime or something like that, and we would just always meet Russian teams. But the problem is that they always had negative MMR, and no matter what happened, you never gained anything. So you would always get 0 points no matter what happened. So there was literally no reason. Well, they offered
but you would
most
lose
of the time just left
if
straight
you.
away. Yeah, you lost rating if you lost. So, but I mean,
Yeah, we played
they
against
almost always
that.
left.
We played against that Russian team that was like 2400, and we only got 1 rating, and we were like 2.1 at the time, and it was just like, what? How does that make any sense? Because like we didn't actually play against them. Like they just joined, had 2400 rating, and then left, and then we got like
My
no
only
rating.
issue with they've done this is they've reset the ladder already, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, have they not?
Yeah. And apparently they banned people that were like very obviously exploiting.
Well, the thing is that I'm looking at the ladder right now, and it's fine resetting it, but they haven't. It's a band-aid fix. They haven't done anything to stop it. Like I'm looking at the RPG ladder now in Europe, and not to name names or anything, but there's only one person in the top 50 who's legit. At least, you know, most of them
They
are not.
don't
I should
have
say.
gear or stuff like that in the top
A
rating.
lot of them don't have. A lot of them don't have gear. A lot of them are in green gear, etc., etc. So
Well, maybe the ladders
it's,
just aren't cleaned up yet. Like
maybe.
I don't know.
I
don't
think
know,
at
but
this point,
I think they are.
I
'Cause
think
I've
at
seen
this
ratings
point,
change.
it's a fair call to say that MMR as a system, as an idea, did not work out for WoW.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I've been thinking that for
I
a long
think
time.
Blizzard should go into the next expansion and get rid of MMR altogether and just reintroduce pure rating.
Yeah. I agree
What do you
with that.
think?
The problem with it is the way that it works out is like it works in other games because the game doesn't generally change, and WoW changes a lot all the time.
Yeah.
So even if you have say you have like 2500 MMR in one season as whatever a rogue, next season your class gets massively nerfed. Your ability to play at that rating again is not the same because your class has been changed. So MMR just does not work in WoW because the game changes too much all the time. If the game never changed, MMR would be fine, but it does. And I think MMR, it's not good as a system because it kind of locks you in the level that you're at. It's so much more difficult to gain rating on an old character that you've done a lot of arena on than it is a new character. Even if you're you obviously don't get better. You play at the exact same level, but it's infinitely easier. So for people like who want to improve the game or get better, it's honestly better to level a new character of the same class or whatever, and then play that one instead of playing your main because your main's MMR's ruined, or and like now with the new system, you can't with the MMR system you can't play with friends. If you play with friends and your MMR gets ruined, unless you're like a super good player or you play with really good players, you can get stuck at that MMR no matter who you are.
Like
That's
for
a general issue
achieving,
with the new system.
Like for a person that's achieving like 2.2 or like 2.4 or something like that, like to them playing with other people isn't really an option because like you'll just ruin your MMR and stuff like that. And like there's some people or whatever that can maybe like guarantee their rating even if it drops one night. Like like I've seen V's rating drop like 300 rating or whatever, and he doesn't really care, but it's because he knows that like the next day he'll play with like real people or whatever. But for everyone that's not really an option. Like it can be like really worrying if you see your rating just like dip like 100 points.
It's especially if you're like it's especially if you're like someone who wants to like get better or they want to achieve a higher rating than what they've ever played at. Then often the people that you play with is very limited. You can't like be like, okay, I'll give someone new a try to play with them because maybe it's a comp I want to play or something. I have to play with this person because I know their MMR is similar to mine. So,
But the point is, we all wanted the ladders to be more competitive, and we have it now. The old system allowed for endless resetting, changing your win-loss ratios and stuff like that. And now we don't have that anymore. Now you have your score, and you're kind of bound to it. And so it's harsher, but it's definitely far more competitive than ever before. WoW PvP was never as competitive as in this season.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I'm not sure about
so
that.
we are all complaining about this shit. Sorry about that word. About that thing. But I actually
you
got
don't
told
need.
I can't say any swear words anymore, and so I have to adjust because
Yeah,
I
we
use
apologize.
them.
We apologize for Tobias's language.
Yes, sorry,
PvP
Sorry.
Live
Shame on
apologizes
me.
on behalf of Tobias for his
PvP
language.
officially apologizes. Let me just check.
okay.
What the hell?
That's
Alright, we're dwelling on
That's
this.
one of my
It happens.
the cat face is one of my favorites. Airden, since you wrote the article, it kind of covered this a little bit. Do you have anything else to add about the rating resets?
I mean, overall, I think it was needed. It was warranted. You know, I'm in a pretty big guild with a lot of very competitive players, and I kind of like broke the news to a lot of them in guild chat, and nobody really had any complaints about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely shows that they're watching and they're willing to fix. And I honestly haven't seen that in a long time. So it's good. It's good there, but yeah, they would. It fixes the problem right now, but it doesn't eliminate the reason why it happened. So at this point, they would have to just keep doing fixes like that every once so often, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The problem
Okay.
is, what? Sorry. What could they actually do to fix it, though? I mean, ultimately, this kind of issue has been in Arena for a long time. Win trading's always existed, and it's hard to think. Well, I don't know why they
I mean,
removed the old Arena history. They had Arena history. Why not
Well, it's
have
not.
that and have an
they
RPG
still
mode?
have it, but they just don't have it public because
Yeah, yeah,
people
it's not
would.
viewable, but why?
The problem is people abuse the system of reporting a lot. So people accuse, or people
That's
that win
just
trade accuse others of win trading to get themselves a clean Wester. So the problem with win trading is if you look at soccer, which is pretty professional, which is pretty widely covered, you
yeah, there's
can't
not much.
stop it in soccer either. Not even in like the Italian
Yeah,
league
but
is like a top league, an international top league, and you get all the time these reports about the
yeah,
letters and games being being
that's not an
tampered with.
excuse though. I don't think that's an excuse.
Definitely
Oh, there's a
not. But
lot of boring
I
cards in
mean,
this
how do you
case.
want? Look, and you can spot an easy win trade very easily, like
Yeah.
if people don't do damage or get killed. But if you have a coordinated team where someone just misses the counter spell or something on, or like not shooting the penalty right in soccer, how on earth do you want to detect that? It's impossible.
Yeah, but that's not the issue. The vast majority of them, like you said, are obvious. But there's still what months and months before anything's done about it. If the old like system was there where you could see what happened, who they played against, how the game went, and then people can say, okay, this is an obvious win trade, let's report it. At least that brings attention to it. Otherwise, what does a Blizzard employee randomly look at the ladder every so often and go, oh, this looks wrong, we should do something about this? I don't agree with that. It's a lot of people would report it. Just hire some people to investigate it. Then
Yes,
I
I
think the
agree
bigger
with that,
problem
but I
is
don't think. Sorry, just this point. I don't think even with a lot of resources you can eliminate the problem completely.
no, I don't
That's
think it can be,
impossible.
but it can at least be made better.
and I think win trading is more encouraged by how the system actually works too. You know, like I don't know all the details. I mean, I'm not a win trader. I've never done it, but from what I've heard, like the way that these teams, like these Russian RPG teams, are, you know, whoever's doing it, it just like tanks their rating to like negative numbers, and then they just play games, and they're always gaining personal rating, even though their MMR is like nowhere near it. So
Yeah,
it's just like the system, like how it's set up, you know.
yeah. It's mostly
Yeah.
done from what I can hear on alts. They alts play like half an alt team and half a main team, and then lower it, and so that the MMR is not as low as the actual team rating will be.
Mhm.
But the thing, I've actually lost what I was going to say now. The thing, like, it's also win trading's also encouraged by the lack of anything that's done about it.
Yeah, by the
Like,
lack of
you can say
policing.
it's
Mm,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
definitely.
it's I kind of said this 2 weeks ago. We were on a similar discussion. It's like if you don't do anything about it, people will. If you don't stop people from doing things, they will do what they want. It's like
Yes.
honestly, if
Agreed.
there were a lot of things that didn't have a law for, people would do them.
Oh, sure.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, like murder, for instance.
Especially
Yeah, trust me, there would be a
People
lot of
get-
murder if there wasn't a war against it. There would be.
and people get back their accounts too easily. They just call and say, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it
right.
was wrong" and stuff like that. They just have it back, and so Blizzard
Because
needs to be
Blizzard
more
want
strict
people
in
to
that
play.
regard.
Yeah, Blizzard want people to play the game. They don't want people not to play the game. And PvP
Yeah.
is not this thing they take super seriously. Yeah, they've got better at it, and
I think
absolutely-
I think they're getting a lot better at it though too.
yeah, they are.
I mean, they're definitely getting a lot more
Far better.
invested in it. Actually, talking about similar subjects too, is something we wanted to talk about was a win-loss record is now viewable on the Armory. Going to Davis first over here, how do you think this affects playing? How do you think this affects Arena, basically?
Well, again, it discourages people from playing comps that maybe won't look as good on their win-loss. But apart from that, I don't know. Like before, people could kind of see it anyway. Like they could figure it out, so it's not too bad.
Now it's just made easier though. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. I mean, but if someone really wanted to know before anyway, they
Mhm.
could see it pretty easily. So it doesn't really bother me. I think it's kind of the same as before. And yeah, I guess it gives
Here's
you
a little
some
tip.
cool.
Here's a little tip. If you really care about your win ratio and it's just atrocious right now, you could spend $25, server transfer, and it's wiped. It's clean.
there you go.
Really?
Yeah, solved.
Yeah.
Server transfer.
Right.
I mean, everything wipes.
Yeah, it
your
does
rating,
sound
your
like
rating,
that.
and everything's gone too. But at least you start clean.
Yeah. The thing,
That's
I
actually a
actually
good
think
thing
it's
to
a
point
much-
out. Go ahead,
I
Paul.
actually think it's a much bigger problem. Because the thing is that how do most casual players find arena teams? They
Trade
ask in
chat.
trade chat.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like 90% plus of people who then go, they armory that person every time. Like almost every time anyone will go and play with someone, they will armory that person first. And if you see a bad win loss, people just say that's bad. I have a perfect example of this. I helped a friend cap his rogue, and his rogue's in like half blue gear. It goes terrible. The comp isn't even that good. And then I don't know, a couple of hours later, I was looking to finish the cap on my Shadow Priest, and I went to look for someone, and he checked my armory and said, "Your win loss is 60%. I don't want to play with you." So even though like I played last season my Shadow Priest at like 2300, I can't find someone to cap in twos because my win loss is bad.
That's true.
Yeah, no.
Well,
That gets
but
even worse.
The thing is, though, too, Paul, as far as the majority of WoW players, the 99%, I guarantee you not even 40% of them armory other players for 2v2. I know it's a bold statement, but you got to think about the average player.
I know.
Do you think they're actually going to
Yeah,
go to the
I-
armory and check
I
someone?
might be exaggerating. I might be exaggerating a bit by that. I don't think we'll ever know the numbers, but I know there's a lot of people that do it, and ultimately, even if it's like 20% or less of the people that do it, it still hurts the casual player more than anyone else because of that reason. And it's like David said, it kind of stops from being something that could be fun if it's not good. So
I disagree. I disagree with this point. It doesn't hurt the casual player as much. It hurts the people, the kind of the friends that get carried along by good players. And before it was no problem. So at some point you would do a team with someone that wasn't as good, and you could carry him to something like his weapon rating or a bit higher, and everything was good. But right now, if you do that as player, you screw your win-loss ratio, you screw your overall rating, you can't reset it, and so people don't do it. But the casual player, like the guy I was capping with, he doesn't care about win-loss. He cares about getting his cap and not being kicked out of the team after a match. And that's about what he cares, that he has a good time, that you're not flaming. And for example, that you're not all the time trying to turn him into a pro, like telling him, oh, you need this macro and you need to respec and you need to change everything, but just having a good time and relaxing about the outcome of it. I think that's what a lot of players want. Not everyone wants to improve. Not everyone wants to become really good at the game, have complex hotkeys, macros, set up a complex PvP UI. And while I always enjoy helping people, I think there's a huge part of players that is not interested in improving, in stepping up their game. It's the same guys that always do cannon rushes in SC2. They just don't do anything else. Every single game, they will
That's
cannon
it.
rush. If
Right.
it gets scouted, they will
Six
still
goals.
cannon rush. And
Yeah. By the way, just one thing. Someone's saying in the chat that issue got fixed with transferring, wiping rating. There's two people saying it, so I don't know.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Airden, is there anything that you wanted to add to the win-loss ratio being viewable on the Armory now?
People shouldn't care so much about their win-loss. I mean, if you're good, you're good. Just play, have fun, whatever. It is what it is.
Recently
Your rating reflects more than your win-loss ratio does, in my opinion. So, I mean, yeah, that's about it.
Recently, there's been some confusion exactly about which crowd control affects shared diminishing returns. Lore actually posted an excellent post explaining each class's CC effects and what the DRs are. Starting with Davis, real quick, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it seems like it's going in the right direction. I linked it in chat for everyone too. It seems like Blizzard's going in the right direction, giving a little more explanation on diminishing returns. Davis, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's true. I think it's true that at least Blizzard are making this information accessible on their end rather than just one of us in the community having to do it and make a post about it and stuff like that. So it's good. One thing I don't like about it that, I mean, all the ones I'm used to have pictures in it, so I could see this spell icon, and then I'd be like, "Oh, that's one of my spells. I need to know that."
Davis, I just heard you make a forum post about it in our forums. That's really nice of you.
No
So
problem,
when will it be
guys.
finished?
No problem. No problem. That's coming.
Okay.
There you go.
It's coming right up.
With pictures.
With pictures. Yeah. So that's it. But yeah, it's good. And it definitely helps when you're trying to remember, does my blind DR with this or this or so it's good for that, and hopefully it'll help people figure out what the next comp is that can CC someone for 12 years.
Going to Tobias, what are your thoughts on Blizzard getting a little more involved in the PvP community and actually, posting something like this? It's pretty big news for all of us, I think.
I think that the guy that did it is pretty high up in the ranks on Blizzard. I don't know his exact function, but it's definitely not a guy that has too much spare time, and so I think it's.
Lore's actually one of the newest community managers.
Yeah, he just came on board basically.
Lore is the guy.
Isn't he the guy that is responsible for PvP or something?
No, Lore is.
No, he's the guy. He's the guy who ran Tank Spot and was on Game Breaker TV.
Yep. Yeah, he was actually Tobias. He was in the documentary, The Instance.
Yeah,
or the raid, or the raid. What is it called?
Yeah, the raid.
I watched the raiding one where they interviewed all these different raiders about this. The beginning of Cataclysm, this race. Was that the documentary?
Yeah. He was. He's the main tank for Blood Legion, I believe, right?
No. He ran his own guild months behind. Months behind. Long story short, he was a PvE guy. He was known for his PvE stuff, and now that he's a Blizzard CM, he's really like stepped up and become the US PvP forum hero kind of like. He's active in it a lot.
It actually sucks too. He stopped streaming now, and his was one of my favorite Twitch streams. I watched him daily when he was on, and especially too when he was on the Instance podcast too. He's quite the character. I'm a big Lore fan. Hopefully we get to meet him at BlizzCon actually.
but yeah,
that's awesome. So US gets a Nakator. This is good news.
I wouldn't put him there yet. He hasn't been like as interactive, but he's definitely been posting stuff, good information. Pretty much all the news we've gotten this week as far as the crowd chose you in the RBG rating reset and this CCDR stuff has come from him. So
okay, I'm following him on Twitter, and I will just put his Twitter account here really quickly in the chat. Just give me a second. I have to copy the link, but it's probably someone everyone should follow.
Aaron, I don't think you really commented specifically on Lore's post. You know, do you think, obviously this is a pretty good direction that Blizzard's taking to pay more attention to PvP?
Yeah, I mean, before it was basically up to the community and players to kind of put these lists together and figure out what DRs with what. So it's nice to see Blizzard stepping their game up, getting this information out there. But the one thing is looking at it, and I actually have a post coming out later this week that's going to be on the front page. And I made a chart with it all, and there is a lot of freaking CC in this game, a lot, tons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like. And the majority of it is stuns, which all the stuns in the game are instant, I believe, unless maybe cap totem is not instant, but I mean, yeah. So definitely something to look at going forward is how much CC is actually in this game.
But not all of it's possible. Like, like hunters have like 20 stuns listed, but they only have they can only have two. Or three.
Yeah, two. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. And this is covered in my article that's going up is, somebody who's maybe trying to get into PvP or somebody who's been doing PvE that wants to pass the time. It's like you look at a list like this, and I think it's really discouraging, because it just shows you that this is just CC, and then think of all the other abilities in the game you have to know, So,
but I mean, if it's that person that's like just getting into PvP, like their first few games, they're not going to be thinking about like
DRs and
like
yeah,
that.
right.
Like they're just going to be like, okay, so like I know I need to like sheep every now and then. I guess every now and then I'll do this. Like I'm pretty sure you could get to like a rating that someone would consider like okay without
Doing the math.
particularly caring about whether cheap shot DRs with
something else.
something
Just
else.
something else in general, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just think it could potentially be overwhelming to some players.
Yeah,
Just-
definitely. Like,
Didn't they say they want to ease the whole system for the next expansion at some point?
Yeah, there's
I
been a
think
lot
I
of talk
read a
about.
Holinka tweet about this.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. Well, that was actually he stated specifically relating to this DR list that they're going to be looking at it going forward. But they've also talked about reducing the amount of abilities that every class has. Getting rid of some button bloat or whatever they call it. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see. Really, I'm thinking we'll get an announcement at BlizzCon as far as what the next expansion is. So maybe we'll get some more info.
Recently there's been a bunch of complaints, and we even talked about this last week and maybe even the week before. Is dual blood DKs in arenas, and now Blizzard's finally kind of made an announcement about what's going on with them. Tobias, starting with you, do you want to give a little insight on the changes possibly coming to blood DKs?
Hard to say what changes exactly will be coming. I mean, it's one sentence. They put it under the crowd shows you change announcement and said they will fix blood decays, but the crowd shows you is not the right mechanic to do it. And I don't know. I don't think tank specs generally need to be viable in arena. We had a huge nerf for them in RBGs, so most troops don't run a tank spec anymore. Don't think it's viable at all, but I'm not too much into RPG, so I'm not entirely sure. But why not do the same thing in the arena? Just give them a debuff if you go in with a tank spec. You get, I don't know, 30% more damage taken or 50% less damage done, something like that. Just a brute force fix, because I think, or is anyone here that says tank specs should be viable in arena?
No.
Are Davis's friends
Paul,
in chat?
you played Warrior, you probably...
I actually like.
you-
If I could go back in time, I would have played Prat and Wrath, but because it looked so much fun. But no, I would say that tank spec should never be viable ever.
Davis, I know one of your buddies runs dual blood DKs. What are your thoughts on this, on them changing this?
well, I think it's good that they're gonna change it, and that they're gonna take them out. I think it's always blood DKs too. Like it's not so much like tanks. Like it's always blood
Right.
DKs that are just like
It's
ruining.
never ending.
Didn't we cover this last week? Master, hero class, man. I mean, come on, it's hero class.
I know,
You can't.
and they just ruin everyone's day. Like that's all a Blood DK is designed to do is ruin
Right.
someone's
Yeah, it's
day.
no fun for
So-
anyone but the Blood DK. That's it.
DK is
Yeah.
ruining Arena since season 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. So I think it's good that they're fixing it, and yeah, it'll be nice to see what they do. Like I don't even care if they literally make it like Blood DKs can't even enter Arena. Like that wouldn't bother me at all, and I don't think the majority of the WoW community would complain. So I don't know why you can even pick any tank specs to go into Arena. I guess.
I
I don't
have
know.
something I want to comment on the chat. I can't read the bright green, but
You're
Yeah.
something Harry.
We don't want to say
don't
that
read
anyways.
it. Don't
Okay.
read it.
That was
It's
a very
good that it's in
intelligent
light green.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Tobias.
the point is the majority of the players are playing twos and not threes. And while I personally favor threes, and probably most of us here favor threes over twos, I think it's not necessarily needed to balance it fully, but it should be made fun because it's one of the most used PvP contents, and it's far more used than 3 versus 3, and probably even more used than RBGs. And so I think if they can remove something really obnoxious that annoys 90% or more of the people playing it, they should do it. Not being balanced, okay. I don't think they should completely balance on twos or anything, but I think if they can improve something, they should go for it.
Paul and Danny, any last thoughts on dual Blood DKs?
Well, I've actually not met them at all this season, so
Well, keep your eye
I
out.
didn't actually notice a lot. Yeah, I didn't actually notice a lot of people were complaining about it until they came up with the change. But I mean, I've met it loads of times in the past, and yeah, it's like the worst thing you can meet. Because especially if you play a melee class, you do no damage whatsoever to a Blood DK. It's just you might as well AFK.
Right.
Because there's literally no point in you even being there. So my only thing is like if Blood is certainly not the only viable DK spec, so I have absolutely no problem with them removing it. If it was the case where this was the only viable spec that they could use, then I would say okay, leave it, but that's not. So it's like Tobias said, everyone
If Blood
pretty
was
much
the
everyone
only
needs-
viable,
yeah, the game
Blood
would
was
suck.
the only viable PvP spec for a DK. I don't think any of us would play this game. Like that would
Yeah,
everything
actually,
would have gone horribly wrong.
yeah.
I mean, my thought on it is, and I think I brought this up last week as well, is it's not so much the DK, it's the system that's in place that allows them to be so strong. You know, with the crowd shows you buff. You know, once that's taken care of, I think Double Blood DK is mostly going to be taken care of as well. I mean, they're not going to be able to get as high rating because if they can't finish a match, you know, they'll draw or lose rating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is that they're still there though. Like even
Yeah,
if they're not, like at the moment, yeah, they could queue and they could get, you know, like high rating because the buff was there. But even before this system was in, there were people who played Double Blood Decay just to waste 40 minutes of
now
people's time.
I
or whatever.
remember. I don't know if you guys are forgetting about this, but season 9, the first season that Vengeance was introduced, and tanks actually got Vengeance in PvP back then. And I remember some actually, I mean, not very high rating, but at least above 2200 Double Blood DKs that were just tanking and stacking Vengeance and one-shotting people. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I met that a lot.
yeah, it's kind of always been a problem, but I think now more so than ever, it's just the system that's in place that allows them to be so strong. Once they change it, Double Blood's not going to be as viable,
Right.
but you still have the problem with them on the ladder, if you care about twos ladders. I mean, so
It's just about. It's
I
just
think it should
about
just
like
do what Tobias was saying, like just
yeah.
get it to the point where they can't ever queue up again. Because it's like you said, you start seeing them in season 9. So you see them pretty much every season, every so often. Obviously, it's not like a popular comp, so it's not the biggest issue in the world. But why not just do something that stops you seeing them permanently? That's it. On the line straight, it's gone, finished.
Yeah, and I think
Next.
I think like the same thing they did with RBGs, 50% increased damage for tank specs. Why not?
Mm.
What's the downfall to that? What's the
Right.
drawback?
Just a reminder before we move on to the next subject, please go to pvp-live.com, bookmark the website, follow us here on Twitch, and follow all of us on Twitter. Our Twitter names are right next to our real names. Moving on, this is something that we've been doing pretty regularly. We're trying to do it every single Friday night face-offs. Our last match was this past Friday between House Tully and Team Rainom. House Tully won the series best out of 3. They won 2 times. Tobias, do you want to talk about how that went? Pretty much all of us were involved in this at some point, but just starting with Tobias.
Actually, I'm the one that wasn't involved. I was
You
involved
weren't?
in the pre-planning.
Never mind then, forget you.
Philip
David.
did most of the work, and yeah, I had a family emergency, and so it was like horrible. Like 2 hours before the start. And I got a phone call, and it was so urgent I had to leave pretty much right away. And so Philip had to take over, and I was sitting in the train trying to give him some information and stuff like that. It was Reeden, who isn't on screen. He was the hero of the day regarding the organization. He
Oh, stop
pretty much earned a statue in Okrimar or something for him.
Right.
But about the matches, I can't comment. I didn't see them live, so I would like to.
Yeah, actually,
Reeden, Paul,
Davis, were you there or not?
Jason, you?
I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't involved in doing anything. I watched some of the games.
Well, Davis, just starting with you, what did you think? Those matches went pretty damn quickly, and everyone's predictions went pretty much straight on that they were going to train the Elemental Shaman, and that's what happened. Davis, what did you think overall about the performance?
I mean, I think like it was exciting to see and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I think in general it just kind of turned into what everyone expected, if you know what I mean. It was just I heard a lot of people talking about like nerves maybe getting to the other team and stuff like that, and that's probably understandable. Like, but it's just a shame. I would like to see a bit longer games.
Yeah, you gotta, you kind of. I'm glad you brought that up. Nerves, basically, for people that don't stream and they're in a competition setting, even if there's only 20, 30, 40, 50 people watching you, and you've never done that before, I mean, that really can make a big difference on your play style during that match. And Friday Night Face-Offs is kind of based right now where we're not picking random teams, but we're picking lesser known teams that maybe don't have the experience of performing in front of a group of people. So that can actually definitely change your whole fight style, whole play style. Paul, I know we were talking about that before too. What were your thoughts on the match?
Well, I think the nerves thing is definitely a big thing about it. I mean, there's like, just taking an example here of StarCraft 2, because I watched that a lot. There are some professionals in there who have played for years and still have massive nerve problems where they play much worse on the stream or on an offline tournament when they're being watched. And I think everyone plays worse, like on a stream or offline or anything like that. I don't think anyone will ever play as good as they would do, when they're at home and no one's watching them. It doesn't really matter. The thing I would like to point out is that my friend was the team, the one that got absolutely stomped. The healer of that team's a friend of mine. He was playing his ult, so he doesn't play healer in arena that often. He does it a relatively long time, but so I think if you don't play healer as your main class all the time, and then you have the added nerve of that, I think that affects your play so much. I think that's the biggest thing about it, to be honest, about how the outcome went.
Danny Airden, what did you think? You were behind the scenes the whole time. Like I said, those matches went by really quickly where the Elemental Shaman went down in, I don't even know, I want to say less than a minute almost on both matches. Maybe a little bit more than that. What did you think about it?
Well, I'm going to be honest and say that I was so I had my hands so full with everything else going on that I really didn't get time to really
I
like
figured.
sit back and watch the matches.
Yeah.
But I did notice that they were over pretty quickly, and I gotta say, from my perspective and kind of running the show and directing it and all that, I felt really bad because the time it takes to get these matches set up and where we're actually ready to go to the match and watch them play.
Right.
We had much longer periods of talking and stuff than we did of actual gameplay.
Right.
So, um, yeah, that was like a kind of a bummer for me, and I'm sure it was for the people watching it. I mean, but huge thank you to the teams that actually
Oh,
did
yeah.
come and play. I mean, I don't want it to sound like we're bashing on them. I mean, we wouldn't have even had the Friday Night Face Off if it wasn't for them showing up and coming to play. So thank you to both
Yeah,
teams.
definitely.
But
Yeah,
It was huge
Yeah,
that they
it's
showed up and played so spontaneously.
It's
Yeah.
interesting
Should at
that.
least-
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
we should at least give them credit for that because, to be quite honest, we've had much higher profile teams say they will play and not show up.
Right.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
so at the very least, even if this team had nerve issues, even if they were playing alts or whatever, and even if it wasn't quite at the level that we would hope for, still infinitely better than teams that say they will turn up and come. So,
Yeah. It's
And-
I was just gonna say it's really interesting,
me-
and I know we've brought this up before. It's funny how much time we actually put into producing these behind the scenes, and then it's actually only like 30 minutes of actual show. And before the show, we're on Skype chat for probably 3 to 4 hours before the show, setting everything up, and then the whole thing only lasts like 35 minutes, which is crazy, and it's worth it because we're learning as we go too. But it's crazy the amount of time that we actually put into setting up these tournaments. Tobias, sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
What I want to say is one big thing about this whole Friday Night Face-Off is if any of you watched Arena Leagues before, you had an English stream that was not prepared, a team that was not prepared and trained to handle the stream well. And what we decided to do is we want to go for tournaments, we want to talk to sponsors, we want to talk to Blizzard about doing tournaments on a serious level. And before we want to do that, we want to be sure that we can handle it on a serious level. And so just doing these face-offs it's not like, I don't see it at all like we are wasting time or anything. I would have us cast pretty much any team because we need to train and we need to get good as team. And so I'm very, very thankful that this team was playing. And we will continue with that because I think WoW tournaments are there for a comeback, but it can't be handled as badly as before. And I think the Friday Night Face-Off, we heard this from several people that watched it, our stream is even now, even with all the problems we had, is more professional than pretty much everything that has been done before with WoW tournaments online.
Someone actually... Oh, go ahead. I'm
Let's
sorry.
look 2-3 months in the future, and we will be in a spot where we can do it.
Someone just asked in chat, how are the teams selected for Friday Night Face-Off? And anyone is more than welcome to contact us. Tobias, I don't know what the best email is. If you could maybe post that in chat, I'm not sure.
I can type it into the chat. The administrator, actually, of the tournament is you can always talk to us on Twitter. But if you want to contact our admin directly, this is his Skype. This is his email. And we won't publish the Skype here because we don't want DDoS issues, but you will get the Skype and everything. And the other option is just on Twitter to contact us at PvP Live.
Yeah, that's
And,
probably...
if you tweet,
yes, and
if you
we are
tweet
looking
any
for
of
teams.
our-
Yeah, if you guys want to tweet any of our accounts, the PvP Live account especially, we will get back to you. And like I said, we're always searching for teams to compete in here. And as of right now, too, we're building up a prize pool, hopefully very soon, and hopefully going to be partnering with some sponsors as well. So that's something to look forward to. But generally, as far as the times go, Friday Night Face-Offs generally run at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is New York time. And then you guys are going to have to figure out the other time. Sorry. Anyways.
Wait,
go
I
ahead.
can still link the YouTube. Sorry, Jason, I'm cutting off you.
Oh, go ahead. No,
cutting you off.
go ahead.
So
No problem.
Go on. Sorry.
Okay. So kind of wrapping everything up, we kind of wanted to talk about BlizzCon a little bit. In the call before we went live today, we were kind of talking about, what are the possibilities of what's going to be announced at BlizzCon? Well, we're probably 99.9% sure that Blizzard will be announcing a new expansion November 7th, or what is it, 8th? When is BlizzCon? 8th? I don't even know.
8th and the 9th.
I'm sorry, the 8th or the 9th. Yeah, they're going to be announcing, the next expansion. And something that I want to point out, too, is this will actually be the 10-year anniversary in 2014. So there's a lot of predictions going around that this could be a really large one. But what's funny is, too, that we were talking about is there has been basically no leaks besides the Dark Below, but that was disproven by the trademark office. So, just starting out, going to Davis here, what do you think? What do you think the next expansion is going to be? And it's something else we were talking about too. Is the level cap going to be 95 or 100? Davis, what do you think?
I'm convinced. I'm one of the level cap's going to be 100 because I think the heirloom weapons are 90 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense. But I mean, they could change it, I guess. But it depends. And then as far as what the expansion is, I really don't know. Like everyone's talking about like burning Legion stuff, and I mean unless you're really interested in like the lore or PvE, then I don't think you really know exactly who we've killed off in World of Warcraft and who we still have to kill off and stuff like that. So
there's not so much left, I think, lore-wise.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people were talking about when the Dark Below stuff started coming out, when that started leaking, everyone was talking about this possibly going to be underwater and Nagas. And I'll tell you what, I'm for one, I'd probably be done with World of Warcraft. I hate anything to do with underwater questing, anything underwater in World of Warcraft. I just completely despise, and not to mention I hate Nagas too. So the first
quests in what's that underwater area?
The 80s.
It's already
I love that area.
I hated that. Like I got to that point and I was like, I don't even want to level here.
Nope.
I don't want to swim at this speed any longer than I have to. And someone was like, oh, if you complete those quests, then you get a thing that helps you swim faster. I was like, nope.
Well,
I don't.
Thankfully, they had Vashir, and then you had another what was the other option? Borean Tundra? What was the other option?
No.
The other option was Hydro.
Hydro. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Or Hydro.
Yeah.
Hydro. That's it.
We're all wrong.
Yeah. But
I said
it was Hydro.
For next expansion, I was thinking it'd be really cool. Okay. I don't know if anyone will agree with this, but I was thinking it'd be really cool if like the last boss in the expansion was like everyone in your raid group against your own raid group, like NPC versions of your raid group, and then that would be like you had to kill yourself. I don't know.
A mirror image.
I just thought it'd be cool.
You've reached
After you've done that, it's like
It's like
do you think
I don't know.
ends with the next expansion? I don't think so.
I guess not. No.
No, I don't think so.
Well, when do you think WoW ends?
10 years.
Obviously, it has to be the Sargeras fight would be the end. I mean,
I think like.
I actually think the Pantheon would be the last fight.
But I think like level 100 would be a good place for them to be like, okay, maybe we'll think about like I think if they continued from level 100, it would be like, I don't know, it would be like WoW 2. It wouldn't be.
Well, here's a thought, okay?
Yeah.
So why is it that we have to have more levels with every expansion? Why can't we just expand on the
Scale
game?
it. Yeah.
Without leveling up, like more bosses.
Scaling.
I
I
mean,
think people expect that with an expansion.
That's the problem. It's so ingrained in people's heads now that every expansion you're going to have a level raise that you almost have to do it. But actually, that is a good point. And actually, Davis, that goes against kind of what you said. So maybe that is a reason why they would only go to 95 this time. So they would have room to expand to 100 because, like you said, it's going to get kind of weird when you go to a level 100. What level are you in World of Warcraft? I'm 110. You know what I mean? It just sounds weird. Like a level 100 would seem like the cutoff.
Maybe it's going to be double what it started off at, so it'll be 120. I don't know.
Or maybe they scale it down and you're back to level 60.
Actually, that's honestly, Tobias, that's what just came into my mind. What if they did do something like that? What if they scaled every? I don't know. I mean, there's so many different.
There you go. Gnome's the master race. Chromie sets everything back.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We
Probably
all
fun.
go back
And
to
we
Naxxramas
don't
again.
have Stormwind and Oktober anymore. We have Gnomrigan and I don't know where the goblins reside, and we have Mech Wars. Like, you don't have a
Well,
character
well-
anymore. You have how's this new mount called?
Sky Golem.
The new engineering mount.
Sky
Sky
Golem,
Golem.
Yeah, the Sky Golem.
Yeah, exactly. Everything looks like the Sky Golem, and you have like no more normal abilities. All classes abolished. Everyone is fighting a mech, and you have to buy upgrades and new batteries, new guns, and stuff like that. New game?
well,
Yeah, okay.
just to go on about this, this is a very unlikely thing here, right here, but I have a very tinfoil hat moment here. 10 years after StarCraft was announced, they announced StarCraft 2. 10 years after Diablo, I think it was 20 years after Diablo. It was Diablo 3. Maybe the whole thing with Blizzard resetting Titan was actually, to them to
A
cover it
hoax?
up, and that will be the announcement.
of the
At
new World of
BlizzCon.
Warcraft.
Yeah, it'd be like either a new World of Warcraft or a brand new MMO coming out. Maybe, because that would throw people off massively. Like they said, they've reset it now. No one's even talking about it. All the websites that were out there for the game have all gone super inactive. Who
Paul,
knows?
it's really interesting that you brought up, every 10 years, Blizzard's kind of known for coming out with something new if they already have a franchise like that. So actually, that's actually a really good point. Since no one has any idea what's going to be announced in BlizzCon, maybe it is World of Warcraft 2. Maybe it's a whole new... I mean, I don't know. It could be far-fetched, but you know what? Maybe they're doing that instead of working on new character models like we were talking about earlier in Skype. Maybe they're just completely redesigning everything and it's going to be WoW 2 or something similar.
Yeah,
so.
and you think about it, like in the past, being honest, Blizzard have not been good at keeping expansion secret. We
No.
knew about Wrath of Lich King. We knew about the Burning Crusade. We knew about Mists of
Pandaria,
Pandaria.
yep.
There's so little information about this new expansion.
Mm.
It's very probably not gonna happen, but
It is a possible. Actually, Paul, I never really thought of that, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I really agree with that way of thinking. I mean, I think WoW still has a lot of life left in it,
Yeah.
and even if they were
it doesn't
to
have to be WoW too.
right, well,
Yeah.
sure, it could be a different game, but I mean, even if WoW, they could stop making WoW expansions and still support the game, and I'm sure at least maybe 1 million people would still stick around after WoW's over, just because they have so much time invested, and who knows, but. I mean, I think the next expansion, I'm going to agree with Davis. I think, what Davis mentioned is Burning Legion themed. I mean, if you followed any of the legendary quest line with Wrathion, it's hinted at quite a bit. As far as level cap goes, I don't know. The heirlooms go up to 100, but is that going to be the level cap? We don't know. I mean, 95, I guess you could do, but why would they give you heirlooms that you could use across 2 expansions? It's kind of doesn't fit with their model that they.
That can be changed though.
That's
not an
can be
indication.
easily changed.
Well, I guess the thing about that is that if you're releasing a heirloom weapon that says 90 to 100, you probably already have the next expansion planned to be up to 100, and I don't think that's something at this point in the development they could change. So I think almost certainly it will be up to 100.
Yeah, I think it would be weird if they were just like, oh damn, we put that in and it was 100.
Right.
Oh, we want to do 5 levels now. Oh my, okay.
Unless they planned that out.
Someone just delete 4 of the zones. Okay.
I think one point we missed so far, and I think that the whole Titan project, I think it was in the early this year, somewhere in the spring, when they decided to reschedule the whole Titan project, and they moved a lot of developers from Titan to WoW.
Yep.
That was an announcement back then. Which means that the plans they had at the beginning of this year, when the new expansion was planned for WoW, are probably bigger now. Because if they have so much more designers in the game, so much more resources to spend, I think they changed up their plan. Probably initially the expansion coming up was thought of as maybe the last expansion for WoW, but I think the delay of Titan changed that plan. And so they are restarting, putting really big resources into WoW, like they didn't do for a long time on that level. And so I think the next expansion will be pretty big. And yeah, I'm pretty surprised what they can do because they have so much new technology, and now with all these new developers, I'm pretty exciting for what's coming.
Here's what I see happening. Okay, we're gonna stand in line. We're so excited. We're gonna get into BlizzCon. They're gonna get up on stage. People are tuned in on the internet, and they're gonna say, "We don't know what we're doing. We'll get back to you."
That would be bad. The thing is, there has to be
Follow us
be
on
a big
Twitter.
announcement.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on
Imagine,
Twitter.
imagine Hearthstone. Like, imagine Hearthstone was like the only announcement they had. Like,
Yeah, how
all
funny
of
would
it
that
just
be?
like-
Yeah, the thing is, there
Are you
has to be a
serious?
big announcement. There can't not be one because.
Well, in
Well, they
theory,
already
there
skipped-
doesn't.
They already skipped one BlizzCon when they didn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
any
that's
news.
exactly
Right.
why. That's exactly why. If they skipped the BlizzCon because they said, okay, we didn't have anything to announce. Why is there a BlizzCon here when there doesn't seem to be anything to announce either?
There is
At least
something
nothing
big
that-
up.
Yeah, they've.
Well, yeah,
I guarantee they've
Hearthstone-
kept it really
like
under wraps.
Hearthstone alone, like announcing Hearthstone alone, like maybe not for us guys, it's not like new news or anything like that, but like to the world, like
Yeah, it's true.
that's probably big news. So
Yeah.
like to them, it's probably like perfectly viable for them to be under the impression that they can announce Hearthstone at BlizzCon and expect lots of people to be like, "Oh my God, have you heard about this new game?" Whereas like all of us would just be like, "Really?"
Yeah, really.
Like,
We've been playing
Yeah.
it.
Well,
We've
there some.
I've been asking for a key
Well,
for.
I'll tell you what
6
though, I
months, like-
guarantee you, and I don't want to talk about Hearthstone because this isn't a Hearthstone podcast, but I guarantee you there is going to be a big announcement about Hearthstone at BlizzCon, and it's going to include some huge differences in Hearthstone, such as like questing. There's going to be, I guarantee you, there's going to be some big news released about Hearthstone at BlizzCon that we have not seen yet. And something else is too, I'm going to make a bold statement is, and I agree with Tobias, we've talked about this before, I bet that World of Warcraft has another 10 years to go. At least, honestly. I think there's another 10 years yet in World of Warcraft before they would even consider, shutting down servers or anything like that. But, that's just based on past knowledge of what Blizzard's done and where we think the community's going, I guess.
I mean, people still play Warcraft 3. People still play
Exactly.
EverQuest. People still play, I mean, so yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of life left in WoW. Even on just from the community point of view. But I mean, I think it's like, why don't we go over what we do know so far from Blizzard? Somebody in chat mentioned that we do know that there is a Diablo 3 expansion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm,
There's Hearthstone. We know that there's actually a Hearthstone tournament that's going to be there.
Yep.
Just
and the
think
StarCraft 2 expansion.
I
Also,
don't think they'll be announcing that.
I don't know. There hasn't been any news about a StarCraft expansion. I mean, Heart of the Swarm just came out.
Well, we know what it's called, and that's about it.
You,
Legacy of the Void, and that's.
you know what's funny is it's actually interesting that Davis brought up that, the majority, if you think about the majority, not the gaming community, obviously everyone watching this cast, everyone that's involved in this knows what Hearthstone is. Most of us have been playing it. But the majority of the population haven't even heard about Hearthstone yet. So that is actually just the announcement of Hearthstone is a huge announcement at BlizzCon because that's going to make national news. It will. That'll actually, that'll make New York Times. I guarantee you, Forbes, everything.
Because it's not for us. Like it's like Angry Birds and stuff like that. Like
Yep.
it's not a game for us to sit away in our rooms and grind away in. It's
I
a game
think
for
there's
people.
a lot of.
But I think it has the potential to be a pretty hardcore game.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it would
Well, yeah,
attract
of
a lot
course,
people
but-
Hearthstone
I
will
mean,
be
it's
more
main-
successful than WoW. And I will make a bold statement now.
I don't know. You said that
Hearthstone
before. I don't
will
know.
be more successful than League of Legends.
No way. I don't think
It
so,
is.
Tobias.
Mm,
I
I'm
don't.
not
You
sure
said
about
that
that.
before
Yeah.
too, and there's just no way.
I bet my
Legends
mom
has
will play.
300,000
Jason,
viewers.
Jason, how about BlizzCon 2014?
Yeah.
The loser pays the drinks.
Buys the drinks.
That's a deal. I'm gonna shake with you.
Yeah,
on it.
but
That's
do
a
you think it'll
deal.
be bigger by 2014? No way. That's impossible.
Deal?
It's I
Yeah.
absolutely a
That's
deal.
actually impossible.
I would love to see that happen. I would love to see it. Right now I'm enjoying Hearthstone more than League of Legends, but I just don't. League of Legends has such a huge community already, and they're sponsored by so many people, which I'm sure Hearthstone will do as well. But oh man, that's a huge statement to have.
But
To have 1 million, or there's almost been 1 million viewers on Twitch for League of Legends tournaments. That is crazy. They have tournaments at the Staples Center in California. That is absurd. That's where the Lakers play. I mean, NBA teams play at the Staples Center. That's where the damn League of Legends World Finals were played. Which, hey, trust me, I would love to see Hearthstone kick it out of the water. But I'll take you up on that bet, though. 2014, drinks are on me, bud. If it's bigger than
Like-
League of Legends.
If you think about it, like League of Legends, the average WoW player. Okay, you've got like the average WoW player who sits in his room for like X amount of time and he does this amount on WoW, and then you go to the League of Legends player. He spends even less time on his computer because he doesn't have to worry about doing dailies or being the right level or whatever. He just logs on occasionally and plays for fun. And then if you think about the average Hearthstone player, like I could picture myself like seeing like my mom or my sister like on their iPads playing Hearthstone, and
Or even
like
on their
that's the
Android
reason it'll
phones
be
once they bring it to that.
that's the reason it'll
have
be so
friends who play
huge.
Hearthstone like hours per day. There's both sides of that. People will play it hours and hours and hours on end. I think
Exactly.
this
But that's
will
what
be
I'm saying.
every
Like the
demographic.
range of people that can play it is just so expansive that
That's
like
probably the
it
only
has the
reason why
potential to be bigger than League of Legends
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure there's more people
Mhm.
in the world that have played Angry Birds than have played League of Legends.
I just think the League of
Absolutely.
Legends style of game fits more people better than card games do. Like personally, I have I don't play either game, League or Hearthstone, and honestly, neither game really attracts me that much. But if I was going to pick one, it would definitely be League over Hearthstone. So,
Yeah, but
and I'm
but
just
like you don't have to. It's like they're two different games. Like you would have to compare
Completely, yeah.
like you'd have to compare like Angry Birds to Hearthstone and be like, okay, I'm only gonna play Angry Birds or Hearthstone, and I'm gonna go professional at one of them or whatever. Like, I mean,
Go
you're probably-
professional at Angry Birds.
You know,
Coming to Twitch, professional Angry
Yeah.
Birds tournament Staples
Exactly.
Center.
hey,
Exactly.
we should mention the fact that MLG are doing a tournament for Hearthstone now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
MLG just picked it up, and
there already is a professional player for Hearthstone too.
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
just
they
got
are.
sponsored. Trump SC just got sponsored by Razer. Which, I mean, it's no
So, like-
it's no surprise because Trump has 20,000 viewers on Twitch at one time. So, but yeah, that's I mean, it's for being in beta and for it not being officially released. And I will say this too, I cannot wait to be able to lay in bed and play Hearthstone on my iPad. It's going to be a crazy
Absolutely.
experience. I honestly cannot wait for that. It's going to be amazing. Play online. I mean, to be able to play a multiplayer game on an iPad in my bed before I go to sleep. Yeah, you guys can picture that. It's going to be a hell of an experience. It really will be.
That's the future.
It is the future. It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, trust me.
absolutely. I mean, look at the sales for desktop computers. It's going down, 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 down. People have their smartphones, have their iPad or whatever tablets and stuff like that.
I'm
It
not.
just less
that
and
good
less
for gaming?
families
I
just
think
buy
that's good.
desktop computers.
Wait. Okay, this thought just came to my mind. Okay, you ready for this? Silence for a second.
Yep.
Ready? World of Warcraft for Steambox.
Oh,
Well,
that could happen. I mean, it could
Do you guys
happen
think
actually.
Do you think gaming on mobile devices getting super popular is that good for it though? Because I can see in the future a lot of AAA games being marketed towards handheld devices. That's gonna. I can
I
see
think
that
there's a long
happening.
way to go in technology before we reach that.
Yeah.
I mean-
That's what I mean. You might start making games less technologically good in order to hit that market because that's going to be a huge market in like 10 years or even closer than that.
I mean, like look at the trend that's going on now. Like, what makes a blockbuster game, and it's the story that the game has to tell. I think is the biggest thing right now. So I don't know. Can you do that on mobile devices? Tell good stories on a mobile.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think that.
you can.
Not devices, but like iPads, sure you could.
Well, you got to think about the
Yeah.
Walking Dead series by Telltale Games. That's released on the iPad. It's one of the highest rated games from the past 2 years for Xbox for any platform.
And the point is, this whole console games or even iPad games, especially, are compared to what Blizzard does, are really bad. And this time, Blizzard is well known for really making excellent games. And compared to what you have at these shitty games you can download on something like Google Play,
Language.
Hearthstone is 50 leagues ahead of it. It's just a million times better. And so it will be the first really, really, really good game that is coming out for that devices. So it will rock.
The opinions.
But anyways, I mean,
is alone.
I don't want to make Let's talk in 2 years about this topic again.
Yeah,
Okay?
is a wrap up. I mean, honestly, like I hope to God, I love Hearthstone right now. That's pretty much all I've been playing, and I hope it is as big as you're gonna say it is, Tobias. I really do. Honestly, that'd be amazing. It'd be amazing for all of us, including Blizzard, and it'd just be great for the competitive gaming scene as a whole.
So go to hearthstone-live.com, bookmark it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they might make? Do you guys think they might have it where you can play Hearthstone in game on WoW? Actually,
That's an interesting point. I don't know. I don't think so.
There's already like Hearthstone boards in WoW.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you
And
guys
I
have seen
I
them.
can see
but,
people
like,
like.
yeah,
I can
like
see people,
seeing
sitting right.
is it the Horde in the Horde city in Shrine of the Silver Moons? At least I know that like outside, like on the like giant balcony, I guess you would call it. Like there's like a little table with
Awesome.
two people's Hearthstone cards, and it's got like the Hearthstone board and things
Davis,
like that.
I have
So-
actually seen that. I thought it was photoshopped. I didn't know that was actually in game. That's me
No, that
being
is.
stupid.
No, that's
It's right outside, and they're making emotes and stuff like, "Oh, you bastard, you took me card," and
Oh, no kidding. Oh, I
Yeah.
feel like an idiot. I thought that I've seen a picture of that, and I thought it was someone photoshopped it. I didn't even realize that was in game. Anyway,
I can
really
definitely
cool,
see someone like sitting in their raid playing Hearthstone while people are AFK. That's what I can see that happening.
so
or
make it
waiting
a
in
mini
the arena.
game, basically, a mini game inside a
Well,
WoW.
I
is what you're
mean,
saying.
it
I know
works
people
the way
that
it
will
is
miss
sometimes.
queues because
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like-
being an issue.
Oh, that happened all the
Yeah.
time. I bet.
Yeah.
But
You can make
Someone's
Whaler
like, "Oh."
points by playing Hearthstone or something.
Imagine that if it contributed towards your WoW. Like if you
Yeah.
get stuff on Hearthstone, like if you get the Ragnaros card on Hearthstone, then you got like a free legendary in game or something like that.
Jeez.
I think
That'd
actually
be-
there are mounts. In the Hearthstone files, there is an achievement for WoW mount right now. It's not implemented yet, but it's already in the game files.
Is it the
So-
Fairy
yeah,
Dragon?
it's not. I don't think it's an achievement. I think it's you get a WoW mount for partaking in the Hearthstone beta or something like that.
Oh. But still, like if they're gonna do that for the beta, then like there's probably gonna be like mounts and pets and stuff that come out of Hearthstone that we can get in game.
Kind of wrapping things up here, I just want to remind everyone, go to pvp-live.com, bookmark the website, follow us here on Twitch, follow all of us here on Twitter. Our names are right next to our names, and follow PvP Live on Twitter as well. Make sure to check out Friday Night Face-Offs. They go on 4 p.m. Eastern every week, where we include different team members, different arena comps, going up against each other. And if you have any interest in playing in one of these tournaments, please contact us on Twitter or shoot us an email. Closing everything up right now, Davis, any last shout-outs? I know you usually have about 20 of them, so go ahead.
Let's see, who am I gonna shout out to this time? Shout out to myself
There you
for
go.
capping
Yeah, love yourself.
capping a flag that no one else could cap. So go for me.
There you go.
And yeah, that's it. No one else in my group of friends has earned a shout out.
Ooh, jeez, harsh. Tobias, how about yourself? I'm sure a shout-out going out to your mother.
Exactly. And of course, shout out going out to Ibu for playing in our Friday Night Face-Off, to Philip, our organizer mastermind, and yeah, that's it.
Paul, how
For
about
today.
yourself? Anything in closing?
I'll just give a shout out to everyone who's watching. You're all awesome, etc. And since he didn't do it himself, I'll give a shout out to Davis's friends. So.
There you go. Someone's got to pay
David
attention to.
shouting.
Danny, Aradin, how about yourself? Any shout-outs? Any last comments?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my wife. She's put up with a lot through this whole PvP Live thing.
There you go.
We've been really busy, so thank you to my wife for having patience. And shout out to all you guys who come by and listen to us talk about things sometimes not even related to PvP. It's cool.
Thank you.
It was a fun show. It was a fun
Yeah,
show.
yeah. This was actually our longest show too. This was about an hour and a half. This was actually a really fun time. Thank you to all the viewers. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Davis. Thank you, Tobias, Paul, Aaron, and Danny. Thanks for the whole PvP live staff for everything that you guys do. And I don't have any shout outs because I never do. Go ahead, Tobias.
For all of those that want to listen to the whole podcast, we have it on YouTube, but also on SoundCloud, and we will be putting it up on iTunes very soon. So you can also download it and watch it, hear it on your mobile phone and everything. Just want to know that the link is in the forums for that. I will just post it. Okay, sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. So, again, please just go to pvp-live.com, bookmark the site, follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye.
So long.
Bye.